All right, welcome back to Castle Sports Talk. I got a special episode for y'all today. I got my man's Fields in the building.
What's good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fields is gonna be our collegiate sports expert, as this man right here knows a lot more about college sports, college players than I probably will ever know. So I brought him in the building to do a mock draft today. And yeah, man, Fields, how was your day, bro?
It's alright, can't complain. Had the day off of work, just relax. About to help my boy out with this podcast.
Sir, no better way to relax you on your day off than do an NFL mock draft, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we just gonna get straight into it. We don't want this to be a too long video. So let me just share my screen real quick. We're gonna be using the what I always use, the NFL mock draft simulator on Pro Football Network. I think their board is a little donked up, but me and Fields have our own board in our head, so yeah, we're just gonna do it like that. We talked about it before we started. Fields is probably gonna be doing the NFC teams. I'll probably be doing the AFC teams. And in the first time, what seems like a while, each NFL team has a first round pick this year. Usually, I feel like every team has like two, or someone's missing one. So it's gonna work out evenly. He gets 16 NFC teams. I get 16 AFC teams. Um, yeah, and any commentary before we start, Fields?
Nah, we good.
All right, let's do this. Um, and even though if I make the pick, I'm gonna call on you to make your evaluation on the player and what you think about my pick. All right,
Yes, sir.
all right. So starting off here, number one, Titans. Probably the one of the easiest picks on the board. Maybe five is the probably most predictable pick. But Titans at number one, I go Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. Um, my evaluation on Cam Ward has been pretty consistent this whole offseason, where he's a guy with plus tools. He put it all together last year, and he still has a lot of not a lot. He still has some technique things and uh, yeah, just some technique things he needs to work on. But he has the skills to be a good NFL quarterback, and hopefully, the coaching staff in Tennessee can help Cam Ward be what he potentially can be. And they signed a bunch of players this offseason. The only thing they didn't address is quarterback. They even let Mason Rudolph walk, go back to the Steelers, and all they got is Will Levis. And I actually like the idea of letting Will Levis and Cameron Ward battle it out. And even if Will Levis does win, and he does start the season, I don't know. I can't see Cameron Ward not starting by like week 10 or week 11, especially if they're losing. So yeah, what you think, Fields?
For me, I think they do take Cam Ward number one, but I feel like during mini camp and preseason, they're gonna battle out, and I think Cam Ward's gonna take the spot from Levis.
Okay.
But as Will Levis wins, I say by week 4, week 5, they swap him out and put Cam in.
What about this? What if Cameron Ward wins the job but just doesn't look ready? Do you see them potentially just putting in Will Levis early, mid, late season?
I I see that. I can see that 100%.
Word.
Um, Personally, if it doesn't work out, you get another draft pick next year, high pick, and get build around that, get some help.
They have no wideouts in Tennessee. No wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, you could also. I mean, this draft class, quarterback wise, isn't really that good.
Right.
So I think you trade your second or third pick, try to get back in the first, or get in the second, third, and pick wide receivers. Like,
I think they double down on wideout this year. I think they double down.
fair enough.
But anyways, something I should have said in the beginning of the video. this is going to be a mock draft where we kind of do a little blend of predictive and kind of what we would do if we were the GM. So it's like a little blend of that, kind of using both logic mindsets. And another thing is I didn't talk about this with you, Fields, but this is going to be a draft with no trades. I just think trades make it really complicated. So we're just going to do it straight up, even though trades always happen every year. Moving forward, pick number 2, Cleveland Browns. All right, this is kind of what I would do. I would do Abdul Carter. And people, I understand the fact that they invested so much into Myles Garrett. It's like, why would you just go and add another edge? I actually think because they invested so much financially, that Abdul Carter is the way to go, because on a rookie contract, like, you're not going to sign another edge for a lot of money. You're not going to sign a veteran edge out of free agency for a lot of money because you gave so much to Garrett. So I think getting a guy at Abdul Carter's caliber on a rookie contract is something you can't get at free agency for the Browns. I don't know if I'm making sense, but they're not going to invest much money on veteran edges. So you might as well get a guy on a rookie contract, because you're not going to find a guy with that skill looking for cheap veterans in free agency. So I think Abdul Carter kind of does relieve a little bit of that financial pressure by bringing in a guy at that caliber on a rookie contract. And I think it just makes sense to me. So I'm going to go Abdul Carter. What you think, bro?
I think Abdul Carter is the pick right there, but I feel like what do the Browns need again? Can you click on their
I can't go back.
needs? Oh, you can't see their team needs? Oh shit.
Back.
Um
I would say they need wide receiver, cornerback.
I would go Travis Hunter at 2.
I don't think you go wrong either way.
You can't.
I think we talked about Travis Hunter before. I think he got the highest potential in this draft. If you think about if every pick works, if every first round pick works, who works out the best? Travis Hunter. Because what if it works at wide receiver and cornerback? That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So for Giants, they get a tight end. Hold on, let me see what their draft needs are. Quarterback, tight end. I say they take the best person on the board, and that's Travis.
So you think he's going to play cornerback or wide receiver for the Giants?
I say wide receiver, and then have him play third down, maybe second down. Have a few plays for him, or they swap him, plays cornerback, like couple, first through third, and then have him play like 20, 30 snaps on offense, 15, have some plays for him, goal line maybe.
I think him and Malik Neighbors would be nasty.
Would be.
Yeah. All right, pick number 4, New England Patriots. I think this is the worst possible situation. Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter gets picked in front of the Patriots. I think that's the worst possible situation. I think trading down is an option here. I think it is. But this is a draft with no trades. I'm gonna go McMillan.
Really?
McMillan. Stephon Diggs was obviously signed, but it's essentially a 1-year contract with no financial obligation past year 1. The way they structured that contract, McMillan is still a different receiver than what Stephon Diggs is, a lot different receiver than what Demario Douglas is. And then you ask yourself, what do they do for tackle? Maybe get a veteran later in the offseason, or maybe just draft one early in the second round. Since you have such a high pick, you're probably still going to get a pretty good prospect. And you just don't worry about wide receiver no more, and hopefully dispel all the accusations of drafting terrible wide receivers all the time. You just draft the best one in the draft and call it a day.
Oh, all right.
Damn, it's like a lot of AFC teams, bro.
Yeah, I know.
And then you got to run on NFC teams. All right, so I'll make this quick. This is the pick that everyone's doing for the Jaguars. Mason Graham has questions about length and weight, but I think the tape speaks for itself. So I think that's an easy pick. Big need for them. Number 6. Now, before I make this pick, I'm going to ask you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Me, what I would do if I was the Raiders, I'll do Will Johnson or Ashton Genty. What do you think the Raiders are going to do, though?
I mean, Kazam, they need cornerback, running back, defensive tackle. Personally, I mean they got Gino at the helm, right? And Pete Carroll, so you're trying to win now, give or take. So I still think they draft Shador. I think they take him, set up for the future.
You think they get Shador?
I think they get Shador. I think they get their guy.
That's wild, even though they got Gino.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't do that just because if you are trying to win now, it doesn't make sense to draft your future quarterback. You know what I mean? But Shador does have a close relationship with Tom Brady. I could see them probably trading back to get Shador. I don't know. I do like them getting, like, it makes sense to me, but Pete Carroll's the oldest NFL coach right now. And I think Ashton Genty, rookie running backs usually have impact on their teams. What I would do is I would get a cornerback, Will Johnson. But I'm going to go Genty just because I like what you said. They're win now. Pete Carroll's the oldest NFL head coach, and rookie running backs are known to have big impacts on their team. So I'm going to go Ashton Genty. If McMillan was on the board, I would have went McMillan, to be honest. I think they need some offensive juice. All right. Moving forward, Jets, number 7. I think this is an easy pick. I like Membu, so I'm just going to go offensive tackle Armand Membu over Will Campbell. Just Membu blew it away at the combine. And Will Campbell, he didn't do bad, but Membu just blew it away. So I'm going to go Membu, combine star. And that's it for the AFC run. Now we're at the NFC, number 8, Carolina Panthers, and Fields is picking.
I say, cornerback. What's that? Offensive guard,
Center.
center. Okay. I say they take Shamar Stewart, Edge, Texas A&M.
Yep. Look at that 10 RAS score. It only goes up to 10. So this dude literally had a perfect combine. Yeah, I agree with that pick. I like that. I think they need juice in the pass rushing, and Shamar Stewart brings you that. All right. Next, Saints. I also seen like a notification from NFL something, I don't know, saying that Saints are the biggest wild card in the draft, where they could go many different ways. So what would you do?
Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan.
Ooh, to replace Lattimore.
They need somebody.
Yeah, I could see them doing Shador. I could see them doing Will Campbell. I could see them doing defensive help. I could see them doing cornerback help. By defensive, I mean edge, because you have a lot of good edges in this draft in the first round. All right.
The Bears, I say they take Will Campbell. It's a toss-up between Campbell or Banks Jr., but I think they take Campbell.
Wow, like Will Campbell falling to 10 is crazy. I think that's good for them. I have a question. If
Hmm.
Ashton Genty fell to number 10, are the Bears picking Genty?
Ooh, I say deep down, no, because you got DeAndre Swift. But then again, DeAndre Swift is old. Or not old, but he's been in the league for quite some time. Got some mileage.
Yeah, you know, running backs they expire quickly.
Yeah. I still bet they go with Campbell.
Word.
49ers, they're going to take Calvin Banks.
Mm. Yeah, Kelvin Banks, he's listed as offensive tackle here, but most people are pegging him as offensive guard. Just a real nasty blocker with a lot of power. A lot of power.
Cowboys, Dallas. Ooh. Um, running back, eggs,
They
guard.
interviewed Matthew Golden today.
Yeah, I saw that. I still think. I'm trying to think.
Let me
They,
know.
they
Let me know if you need me to change. Like
let me see who's that running back available?
running back. Oh, you got Hampton.
Hampton.
Yeah. Hey, I've seen some people draft Hampton to them.
Really at 12.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think that's very rich for him, but
I
hey,
stake defense. Who's that defense that's available? Did they re-sign Micah yet?
they haven't.
They haven't. They'll get it done.
They'll get it done. They'll get
They'll
it
get
done.
it done. Let me go all players again. I think, like you said, they're gonna go Golden because they need a wide receiver. I wish it was McMillan, not McMillan. Is it McMillan from
Give me-
Arizona?
Yep.
Yeah,
McMillan.
yeah.
Yeah.
McMillan. I think they get McMillan if he falls, but if not, Bolden.
Yeah.
Bolden's a good choice.
I agree with that. If McMillan falls, they get McMillan. If Genty falls, they get Genty. Um, I think they get the best offensive playmaker on the board, and right now that's Matthew Golden. And I actually really like that fit with CD Lamb. CD Lamb, who plays a lot of slot and outside, gives Matthew Golden kind of like wherever you play best, bro. Let's put you there because CD Lamb can play anywhere. So Matthew Golden, let's just find out as a rookie where you play best at, and we're gonna, no pressure for you to be any one thing. So I like that fit a lot.
What's your take on them getting Joe Milton, Bazooka Joe?
Bazooka Joe. I don't know. Cowboys always like making splashes for their backup quarterback. They do Trey Lance last year, Joe Milton this year. Um, I I like that though. I think Joe Milton's a really good quarterback. So I think for as cheap as they spent on like if you think about it, the Chargers spent $6 million on Trey Lance. I don't think it's gonna end up being $6 million. I think if he makes the team and wins the job over Heineke, Trey Lance might get maybe 3 or 4. And if Herbert goes down and then he gets a couple starts, he'll earn $6 million. But whatever, a couple million for Lance, but they only spent like what, a 7th round pick on Joe Milton. Like I wish the Chargers spent the 7th round pick on Joe Milton.
Joe Milton's good. I think this year, I think that looking at the draft class, I think what's it 2026 we're in.
Mm-hmm.
I think Arch Manning number one. Teams are just gonna tank, and Cowboys. I hate to say it, but y'all could get a Manning, bro.
You think the Cowboys might tank?
Yeah, the Colts. I can see a lot of teams tanking the Colts. Anthony Richards,
The,
he's
the,
kind of falling off.
the Colts getting Manning would be crazy.
Or the Giants. It's like
Yeah.
I
Or
mean,
the
Giants low key took Jameis and then Russ because they know they're trying to, they need to win games. So
they might take with them bums though. Yeah, you be having wild takes. I can't believe you said the Cowboys might tank. That's
I,
crazy.
I think they need to tank, bro.
You don't like Dak?
I do, but like Dak just Dak is decent in the regular season for like the first like 11 games, and then he just shits the bed.
Yeah, true. All right, moving on to 13. I think Miami's another wild card pick where they could go secondary. They could go offensive trenches or defensive trenches. I actually even one mock draft picked McMillan up for them. So because Tyreek Hill is having all this turmoil, they might be looking to replace him. But here we are. I think you got to go offensive lineman for them. I think you need to protect Tua with all them concussions he had. I think Mike McDaniels values offensive production a lot. So even though Tyler Booker is pretty unathletic, I think he's the best lineman on the board. You could go Josh Simmons, but I like Tyler Booker better, potential-wise. Josh Simmons dealt with a lot of injuries in college. So I think, there's a bigger chance I think Tyler Booker has a higher floor and higher ceiling than Josh Simmons. So I'll go Tyler Booker. Get some offensive line help. Here we are, the Colts. I think another really, really easy pick that everyone is making. I don't even want to dive too deep into it, but Colts need a tight end. Blue chip tight end available. Easy pick. All right, 15, Falcons. What would you do, Fields?
Mike Green, Marshall.
I think he's the best edge in the class except for Abdul. That dude's tape is insane. Like he looks really good.
Yeah, insane. Cardinals. What do the Cardinals need? Edge.
Yeah, that defensive line is hurting.
It's caca, bro. I want to go with Jalen Walker.
Yep. He's a beast.
The Bengals.
All right, AFC on me. If I think the Bengals are gonna go defense, especially if like a guy like Mike Green is there. But if I'm gonna kind of switch it up a little bit and go what I would do for this specific pick, and what I would do is you have so much investment into the offense, so much investment. You just gotta protect your assets. You gotta protect Burrow. You gotta give some time to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in them. And even though, damn, I really wish Tyler Booker fell. I don't want to. I think Josh Simmons here is a reach. I think they go Gray Zabel, man. I think he's definitely the most versatile offensive lineman in the draft. He could play center, guard, or tackle. He projects best as a center or guard, but he could do it all. I honestly kind of want the Chargers to draft him first round, and we could just forget offensive line for a while with Rashawn Slater, Joe Gray Zabel, whatever. We're not on the Chargers. I think they go Gray Zabel to protect their investments, Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. Even though they have a bad defense, but you just got to protect your investments.
It's okay, bro. Offense scores points. You don't need defense. Fuck it.
Right.
Seahawks. Seahawks need everybody, bro.
Yeah. I think they would have loved Gray Zabel here.
Yeah. Let me see defense. What's on defense?
Got a bunch of good defensive tackles, man. A bunch.
I know. Let me go offense. Let me see wide receivers.
It says they don't need DTs, but I don't know any of their DTs, but whatever.
Click on wide receivers.
Oh, yep.
Mecca.
You like a Mecca?
Yep.
Ooh, I don't see too many people doing a pick like this. So okay,
They have no one to throw the ball to, bro. Who's Sam Darnold got? Nobody.
6 feet, 202. Wait, don't forget they got Cooper Cup now.
Oh yeah, and Jackson. Yeah, but yeah, I totally forgot they got Jackson.
No, but if you want to do a Mecca, we could do that.
No, I can't. Yeah, pick him.
All right.
That,
So
that they can use him as a slot.
yep. So the Seahawks bolstering up their wide receiver room. All right, Buccaneers. That is you.
Let me see what's for Mikel Starks.
Yo, I just want to mention Shador's still there, bro. That's crazy. Like if we was doing trades right now, the Steelers would have been traded. But anyways, you said what?
Mikel Starks or Malachi Starks.
Malachi Starks. Yep. I don't know what's going on with Antoine Winfield, but Malachi Starks, he's a plug and play kind of guy. Kind of like Kyle Hamilton, didn't have the best combine, but his tape is crazy and his production is insane. From one of the toughest conference in all of college football. Don't overthink it. The dude's a beast. Malachi Starks. That goes to me, the Broncos. I hate the Broncos. As a Chargers fan, I would go Colston Loveland if I was them, but they just signed Evan Ingram, so that doesn't really make sense. They would have loved McMillan, but McMillan got drafted 4. They would have loved Genty.
Then go with Hampton.
I'm going.
Hampton's still on the board.
They need some offensive juice. I'm going Hampton. Oh, and now we got the Steelers. Perfect pick. Shador to the Steelers. Perfect pick right there. They just had a meeting today, and Shador he said he loved Mike Tomlin, said he reminds him of his dad, said it went great. And, kind of like what you told me earlier, he just wants to get drafted. Like, he just wants to go first round. Like, but going to the Steelers, I think they both would really like that. And now my favorite team, the Los Angeles Chargers. So I've been doing so many Chargers mock drafts, bro. It's insane. So many Chargers mock drafts. I like going Gray Zabel. I like going Colston Loveland. I like going defensive tackle like Derek Harmon or Kenneth Grant. Where's Kenneth Grant at? Kenneth Grant. If Mike Green fell, I'm going Mike Green all day, every day. Mike Green's not here. I'm okay. Mikael Williams is more of like a run defender edge. I think we don't need that. We have Tuli Tuipulotu, Khalil Mack.
You gonna like Colston Loveland, bro? You need to tie in.
I'm going Colston Loveland, but I really hope on draft day we trade for Mark Andrews or Dallas Goedert or Kyle Pitts, and then we go to the trenches. You know what I mean? Like, I hope we trade for like a Mark Andrews or something like that, and then we draft trenches. But we don't know. We can't tell the future. So maybe they do draft Colston Loveland, who's really good. If you look at his tape, the dude moves like a wideout. So I have questions about his blocking, and Jim Harbaugh values blocking. But hey, Jim Harbaugh coached him already, so yeah. I'm going
Michigan connection, man.
Yep, the Michigan connection. They need a tight end. Colston Loveland is a really good one. Boom. All right, back to NFC.
Jahdae Barron. Yep. Cornerback, Texas.
Yep. To replace what's their cornerback over there?
I think I still got Jair
Alexander. And to replace him. And speaking of Colston Loveland, Jahdae Barron shut down Colston Loveland in one of their games. So he's a beast. Vikings.
Go defense real quick.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm trying to think because Mikael Williams is going on the board. I think they go with Mikael Williams.
Yep. Edge is one of the most important positions in football, and Mikael Williams fell. That's a good pick for them. And I would say they need a lot of secondary, but they brought back a couple of guys where secondary is not as big as a need, and they can focus on secondary, second, third, maybe even day 3 in the draft. So I like that pick. I'm getting an edge that falls to you. Really good. Houston Texans. They need freaking blockers, man. They need offensive linemen. I don't care what any Houston fan says. Fine. Y'all beat us, LA, in the playoffs. Fine. But trading Laramie Tunsil will just never make sense to me. That I don't care what you defend. He gets penalties, whatever. That doesn't make sense to me. But they did it. So I'm going to go best lineman on the board. I'm on defense. Best lineman on the board, Josh Simmons, who I said dealt with a lot of injuries, but if he could get back to what he was before injuries, he's a really good lineman. LA Rams, NFC.
Let me see who's on offense.
Yes, sir.
What has he got? The tight end, wide receiver. Who's available at wide receiver?
You got Burden and Trey Harris.
Oh, I like Luther, but Trey. Tight end, who's available at tight end?
These guys ain't it.
Yeah. Actually, no. I like Elijah Aurora from Florida.
Yeah, but he's like you could probably get him in the second round though.
That's true. Gonna lock him in running backs. Who's that running backs go?
Oh yeah, you got some good running backs if they want to, pick up a guy like Trevion or Caleb.
Nah, I see Cameron Scatterbell being like a second round. He's filthy, bro. I think first round pick, maybe, but he can go day 2. So, but Henderson, I think they take Travion Henderson. I like Scatterbell, but Henderson, comp wise, it's like Jamar Gibbs, quick, explosive.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say about that is, as long as the Chiefs don't get Henderson, I'm fine. As long as the freaking Kansas City Chiefs do not get Henderson, I'm a happy man. So let's go Trevion Henderson. Baltimore Ravens, AFC. This is a team that always drafts well. Always drafts well. That's because they always draft positions that are very valuable. And even when they don't, like they drafted a safety that's not known to be a valuable position, they drafted a guy that is just who produced a lot in college. Like they don't really reach like that, and they always target positions of need. So looking here, there's a lot of DTs, man. There's a lot of DTs, but I think a valuable position that they could target is edge. I mean, it got to be edge. Like, I want to draft Burden for them. I really do. I really want to draft Burden for them, but edge is just a more valuable position. And that's the kind of thing the Ravens do. They don't really take risks. They're just going to go to the most valuable position or just the best player on the board. Right now, you got Nick Scott and James Pierce. I think James Pierce is a better prospect, so I'm going James Pierce. Lions, NFC.
What are the Lions needs? Edge. I think they take the kid from South Carolina, Nick. I'm not gonna pronounce his last name, but I think they pick him.
Nick Emenwari. So him and Malachi Starks are like very opposites, where Nick Emenwari wasn't really he produced a little bit in 2024 in college, but what really makes him the prospect he is, first round prospect, is what he did in the combine, his athleticism and his size. 10 RES score. Just if you see a 10 RES score, just know that dude is an athletic, physical specimen. 6'3", 220, runs the way he does. You don't find an athlete like that, just in any draft. So even though he didn't have a lot of production, this dude is a beast. Washington Redskins, an interesting pick right here.
What's Washington need? Edge cornerback. Damn.
You got Izaraku here. I think he's an edge that has the least question marks in the draft.
Yeah, I mean that's a safe pick.
Safe pick, but you got Nick Scorton too. If you want to do cornerback, you got guys like Revel and Trey Amos. Trey Amos is here somewhere. Trey Amos.
Yeah, but I think they go with Nick from
Yep.
Boston College. I think Nick's good, but
Wait, Nick?
I'm not Nick Donovan. Sorry.
Who?
I think.
Oh, Donovan. Yep.
Yeah.
You think that's what they do?
Yep.
6'2", 248. Very good pick. I like that for the Redskins. Like I said, edge is a very important position. It's hard to hit on them. It's really hard to hit on them, but you just keep trying because that's such. Look at what Philly does. They just draft edge, defensive line, offensive line every year, and it's like they miss on a few, like they did Bryce Huff, but you keep trying, and your team becomes really good once you hit those picks. Buffalo Bills, AFC. Signed Josh Allen to that really big contract. Signed Joey Bosa. Other than that, didn't really have a loud offseason. They picked up Joey Bosa and Josh Palmer from the Redskins, from the Chargers. But other than that, they didn't really make that much noise. I think they do BPA, best player available. I think best player available here, hands down, is either Jahad Campbell or Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan has a lot of character concerns. People say he's immature, a diva, and there was rumors that when he was having these meetings with teams and they would ask him they asked him this question, do you love football? He got he would, after a certain point, he got frustrated with teams asking him that, and just him getting frustrated is, a red flag for some teams. I think that would probably be the reason why he falls. But if he didn't have no character concerns, this dude's a top 15 pick, hands down. Just so talented, very talented player, and I think the Bills go BPA. Walter Nolan. Chiefs, I just wish I could just draft a straight scrub here for them, but I'm gonna stay true to being the podcaster that I am and not hate on the Chiefs. And I think this is another team that goes BPA, but I don't think they go DT. I just don't think they go Derek Harmon, even though he's BPA right here. They have Chris Jones. I just don't see them doing that. Who is BPA, though? Might be Rev. I think it's DT, Derek Harmon or Kenneth Grant, Tyleek Williams. I'm sorry, I'm low on Burden. I really am. He's a good athlete, good production. But I just don't like the wide receivers this year in the first round. I like Siobhan Revel. I like Trey Amos. I think they would have loved the safety here since Nick Bolton left. I'm pretty sure he left. I know I said BPA, but I think they go Luther Burden just because they need wide receiver help. I don't know, but Jahad Campbell's a beast, though. Nah, I'm changing my pick. Jahad Campbell falling this far, you got to go Jahad Campbell. I know Nick Bolton is a safety, but he played in the box a lot. Jahad Campbell is a linebacker, plays in the box, and I think he could kind of be a replacement for Nick Bolton. But yeah, he's a beast. So I'm going to go Jahad Campbell. And now, last pick in the draft, Philadelphia Super Bowl champion Eagles.
What do they need again? Hold on. Edge. I would say go with Siobhan Ravel, or Xavier Watts. But then again, it's
Xavier
like,
Watts.
yeah,
Who is that?
he's a safety from Notre Dame, but like,
Oh, right here. Oh, okay.
yeah, you can plug him in. But then again, I'm like, they need an edge because Fletcher Cox or a defensive. Oh, I mean, like you said, edge is more important, so I think they take Nick, Texas A&M.
Word. Yeah, I think they need secondary help. I could have swore they had edges though. Like, am I bugging?
No, they got Carter, they got Davis.
No, those are DTs. They play interior.
You can put Jalen
You can
Carter
put
on
J-
the
you
edge.
can put Jalen on the edge. They got that speedy dude. They got a speedy edge. I forget his name.
Oh, the dude from Kobe Dean, I think.
No, yeah, they got N'Kobe Dean. Hold on, before we end this podcast, I just gotta.
They got too many. Have them just draft Georgia players, bro. That's all they need.
Let's see. Edge. Jordan Davis, Carter, Nolan Smith. That's what I'm thinking of. I guess they do need edge. Dang. Yeah, I guess they do. Oh wait, sorry, I wasn't showing y'all. So this is the depth chart they got. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith here. Moro Jomo, Scrub sounds like. There goes your boy N'Kobe. Yep. So I think you got it right the first time you said it. So is that your final pick, Nick Scorton?
Yep.
I think a lot of cool things happened this draft. Players fell, like Kenneth Grant fell out of the first round. You said you think the Cowboys might tank. I think that was crazy. Seahawks getting wide receiver help. Patriots going early on McMillan. Chargers getting a dream pick, dream fit in Colston Loveland. You got LA Rams getting Trevion Henderson. I think this was a really good draft. A lot of interesting stuff. Stop sharing my screen. And that was it, man. That was our 2025 mock draft with Mr. Junior and Fields. I want to do one more with you before the draft actually happens. And I definitely want to do a post analysis after the draft is done. Talk about it with you, man. But yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Any final words, bro?
Honestly, it was good to be here. Help you out. Talk some football. Can't wait. Draft is a week and a half, give or take. So 2 weeks should be interesting.
Holla at me, bro. Let's link up.
Of
Let's
course.
have a couple beers. You know what I mean? Take a couple shots.
All
Bye,
right,
bro.
Easy.
You already know, bro. Thank you for coming on. Again, my name is Mr. Junior. Got my boy Fields here, and that's Castle Sports Talk. Peace.